Hi, I'm Jaffa Frank, and I'm here today to talk to you a little bit about a book that I published this year through Mandorla Publishing. It's called Eyes of the Gorgon, Endometriosis, Mythic Embodiment, and Freedom. And the book emerged out of my work at Pacifica. I received my PhD in mythological studies and depth psychology. And I also have a master's in counseling with a focus in grief, loss, and trauma treatment and therapies, and I'm a licensed mental health counselor. So the work of the book came out of my dissertation work, and it's really a mythopoetic psychospiritual model of living with and healing in chronic illness. And it's a descriptive rather than prescriptive process that was really brought about by a curiosity around these ideas that Jung and Hillman had about our gods have become our diseases, and that we need to restore the disease its God and give the God its due. So just so that you know what endometriosis is, it's a chronic estrogen-related or estrogen-dependent disease of inflammation where tissue similar to that of within the uterus is found outside of the uterus, typically in the abdominal cavity. And it responds to the monthly hormonal changes so that it swells and bleeds, causing internal bleeding and scarification. Its cause and cure aren't known, and it is only diagnosed through surgery, so it tends to be underdiagnosed. But over 176 million women in the world have the disease. That's at least 1 in 10. So it's very widespread, and it's a leading cause of infertility and pelvic pain and female hospitalizations. And in the 4 decades that I've had the disease, it has caused the stillbirth of my twin sons. It's caused my own near death, and it's caused a myriad other symptoms and complications that have required medical interventions. So my experience has really been existentially challenging, so that the disease feels like a sacred visitation. And it's been like some sort of old-time deity that's demanded nearly everything of me. So when I engaged in the idea of the possible sacredness of illness, what emerged was this Gorgon image. And she really emerged out of my dreams and intuitions. I didn't seek her out. But in pondering what it really means and experiencing what it might mean to live in relationship as a human woman to the archetypal divine, hers is the face that showed up. And I really did see her in some of the physical symptoms, including the way that the organs of the female reproductive system sort of turn to stone from scarification, the way that the blood of life from the womb becomes a destructive blood, which is similar to stories of the Medusa, whose blood can be both destructive and healing, and was gifted to Asclepius by Athena as the pharmacon. I also encountered the Gorgon in the misogynistic and attitudes towards women who have the disease, and the rage that women have experienced around their experiences as patients. So it's really sort of a multidisciplinary symbol amplification process of engaging this deity, which led me also then to engage Athena, because the two goddesses are truly inextricable in mythology and iconography. And by personifying endometriosis as Medusan, the disease and disease experience become sacred. And healing becomes a form of grace, a sort of mystery that transforms experience without having to deny the reality of suffering. So another piece that emerged was around sacred shame and around menstrual taboos, and taboos that are related to the evil eye taboos. And through that, an idea of an experience of embodied misogyny as a psychoid phenomenon in response to attitudes of scorn or appetite towards the body, towards matter, towards the feminine. Ultimately, by personifying the disease experience, the Gorgon's more hallowed nature, the ancient Chthonic hallowed nature of the goddesses, the great goddesses who embodied life and death, but also rebirth, and in whom death and rebirth were united. That really emerges, and a deep reverence for life as it is, a radical acceptance of experience that does not engender a sense of victimhood, but rather gives a sense of meaning and transformation starts to emerge. And sort of the final piece was around the curiosity about beheading of Medusa and her reassignment to Athena's breastplate, where she's held at the level of the heart, the transpersonal field of love, the transpersonal field of love that is objective eros, not subjective eros, the deep relatedness that is truly loving and yet not essentially personal. And in that way, really, joy and humility and playfulness, those life-affirming qualities of the Gorgon can emerge and can help transform the experience of the disease. So that was my work, and I'm very excited to have this chance to talk to you about it, and I will also look forward to seeing you all at coming home to Pacifica in January, and thank you so much to Pacifica for this opportunity.